Charles D'Alessandro Fillmore Real Estate, also known as Charles the Brooklyn Realtor. I'm coming to you today on a subject called For Sale by Owner, or FSBOs. That's for people who own real estate and decide that they're ready to sell. It may be a house, a condo, co-op, it may even be a commercial property, but they decide to sell it and they don't want to use a real estate professional or a realtor in order to save that money and put more in their pockets. Well, today I'm offering 5 free tips in order to help you with that process. So here we go. Tip number one. Tip number one in a residential property, you go to the front door of the property as you're coming in and you walk through the house objectively and you look for clutter, you look for anything that needs repairs, look at the paint job, take a look and see if your house looks the best it could be. And if it's cluttered, you want to clean it out. You want to paint, you want to take care of it. You also might want to check and have somebody, a professional, maybe a home inspector, because your buyer's going to have one anyway, a home inspector. They charge about $500 to go check the boiler, the heating system, the electric, and check the roof, the whole house. This way you'll know what you're getting. They'll give it to you in writing so you could go back and you could repair the things that need repairs. You may have asbestos in the house that might need removal. You might want to take that out before you start showing the house. But this is all to prepare the house for showing. So after you do all that, we'll go to step number 2. Number 2, you've done that. You've looked through the house, you've cleaned it up, you decluttered, throw out the stuff that you saved for years. Maybe we can use this. Cleaned out the basement, the garage, and all that stuff, and got it all ready. Painted the old room that you never painted before, but you needed to get it done now. So you got it all ready, right? You cleaned the carpet. Now the house is ready to be shown. So what you're going to do is you want to advertise it. So you might want to tell your neighbors and tell the people around that you're going to be selling it. But one thing missing, we don't have a price yet. So now how do we get the price? You might look online to see what your neighbors were asking, what they sold. There's plenty of websites and stuff like that. Or you can call a bank appraiser. That's another thing. A bank appraiser will come in. They charge you. But they'll come in and they'll give you an actual bank appraisal to let you know what your house and houses like yours sell for. And they'll give you that in writing also. So this way you have it. And maybe you can use it later on. So you want to get a price, a good price, that it won't stay in the market for a long time and it'll show some interest. So that's the next thing you're going to do. You're going to look to put a price on the house. So that's step number 2. You got a price, right? You did your research. You looked on Trulia, Zillow, all the websites out there. You looked to see what your neighbors sold for. You got a value for it. And now you're ready to show the house because you know what you want to ask. So the next thing is advertising or putting it out there. Now, there's a few things you might want to do. You might want to go to your neighbors first and tell your neighbors what your asking price is. And also, you might want to put a sign on the lawn. Put a phone number that you'll always be at. Don't put a phone number that's going to ring, ring, ring and get no answer, because you don't want people to know that maybe you're not home or know your hours of when you're going to be around. We'll go over that later. Now, when you talk to your neighbors, you give them a price. Don't forget, they're going to be looking for a good price. They're going to want to discount what they're going to pay because you're not using a realtor, and they figure out that if you were going to use a 5 or 6% broker, that's $30,000 less that they should have to pay. So be careful when you're asking price. When you ask that price, you have to be firm. And if they live on the block, they're going to be looking for a discount because they live on the block. It's like a family discount because they say, we live on the block and we deserve a better price. So stick to your guns on your asking price. So you're going to put a sign, you're going to tell your neighbors. Also, there's for sale by owner websites. There's plenty of places to advertise. Don't forget to put a phone number that you're going to be able to answer, so in order that when people call, they don't really know if you're home, if you're not home. You don't want people to really know your schedule. Okay, we got our sign up, we're advertising, the neighbors all know about the house, and we're ready to show. Here we go. Now, you have to make appointments. Now with the neighbors, you might make, don't forget, don't make it a 3-ring circus. You invite one at a time, okay, and make sure they're interested. You got to have a feel for it. If they're just coming to see how you decorated and stuff, you're wasting your time. But be polite, but do the best you can. Now, when you're advertising the house, or the signs out in front, people are going to be passing by, and they're going to be calling that number, I'd like to see your house, and everybody's going to want to see it. Now, you got to remember, put a questionnaire, a checklist, where you can get to it, and you ask these questions. Maybe make a form like we do. You might write their name. What's their name? Where do they live? How much are they looking to spend? How much down payment are they working with? Have they been qualified by a bank, and which bank are they qualified by? Is this the first house they're seeing? You don't want to be nosy, but you have to be, because these people are going to be walking into your home. This is the biggest investment that you'll ever have for some of you, and you're selling it, and you don't want to make mistakes that are going to cost you money. So make sure you write down all that information. This way you have an idea. Now, when you're going to show it, you got to call, and don't tell people, well, I won't be home, and this is no good, and that's no good, I'm going to be away for the weekend. You just let them know when is good for you, when you'll be showing the house. Or you find out when they're available, and you make yourself available for that. When are they available? That's what you want to know. All right, so you're going to do that. When you make the appointments, make sure the appointments that you make are spaced apart long enough that when you're showing one person, that you're not upstairs and then the doorbell rings with another buyer. Because you don't want to tell the buyer to follow you to the front door, or the one you're with to follow you to the front door, and then have two people with you. You don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure that you have it under control. So space those appointments apart well enough. And also, if you're not going to be doing the showing, make sure the person who's doing the showing, you guys are all on the same page about what you're asking, what it is. You have to be, together with it. It has to be all one message that you're sending out. So make sure that when they say they're qualified, or they're pre-qualified or pre-approved, ask them to bring the papers with them to show you, because you want to see that. You want to see that they do have a pre-approval. So that's the next step. So when you're showing, don't talk too much, don't say too much. You're showing the house, answer the questions that they ask. You answer the question. Don't get into a big elaborate story about anything. Just basically show the house, talk about it, answer the questions as best you can, but don't elaborate on stuff. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. All right, so that's the next step. So just stay tuned, and I'll give you the next one too. You've shown the house, you've got plenty of interest in it, and somebody wants to make an offer. All right, they may want to bring their families back and whatnot as far as that. Again, be careful when they come there and they start talking to you about price. Just let them make their offer. Don't see what happens if you tell them, well, maybe I'm $20,000 negotiable. They start negotiating from that $20,000 down. So there's a way to negotiate. See, I've been to classes on that, and the basic fact is, if you give it away, they'll take it. So be careful how you do that. So when they're going to make their offer, ask them to make their offer. They make their offer. Tell them you're going to discuss it with your family, and you'll get back to them. Don't really go back and forth in front of them. Let me discuss it with my family, and I'll get back to you. Give yourself some space. When they make that offer, you also want to know how much they're going to go for a mortgage, how much down payment they're going with, and you want the pre-approval with it. So make sure they have that. The other thing that I didn't mention, you're going to need an attorney. You might want to interview attorneys before you start. Okay, this way you have somebody to contact with. They're not going to do the negotiating with you, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, they could put things together for you. So you need a real estate attorney. So fine, they're giving you an offer. The offer sounds good. All right, sounds good on the surface, and they tell you that they have the pre-approval and what mortgage you're going for. Ask them for a day or so, this way you can get back to them, or tell them you have to review it with your family. So that's what you want to do next. All right, now you're ready to go, and if it's an acceptable offer, we'll go over the next step. If you accepted an offer, you've got it together, and you negotiated the price, and everything's ready. You have your lawyers involved, you spoke to your lawyer, you got their lawyer, and away we go. Not quite. They want to have a home inspection. All right, so most people do have a home inspection, so be prepared for that. Remember, we spoke about that in the beginning. So let them have their inspection. Mostly an inspector's always going to find some. That's why I told you in the beginning, you might want to have an inspector check the house so you could prepare for this. But they're going to have a home inspection 90% of the time. That's what they do. And then they want to renegotiate. Just let them know you're not renegotiating the price, as far as on the home inspection. You want to make sure and hold firm that anything's broken can be fixed, and if I have to fix it, I'll fix it. But if it's nothing major, you set the price and you're ready to go. Everything goes well with the home inspection, and here you go into contract. Remember, I told you to ask for that pre-approval and the person that they're doing the mortgage with. So while they're in contract, they're going to get 30 to 45 days to get a mortgage. All right? While they're in contract, you can call and check in with them. It gets around 30 days, say, how are we doing? Are we almost there? Are we ready? You know, these are things that realtors do, and this is something that you're taking on to take care of yourself. So you're in contract, and you know the lawyer takes care of it from there. They'll have the title search will be done, and all this stuff. The tag, everything will be paid at the closing, so you don't have to worry much about that. Anyway, that's basically the process. There's a lot more in the middle that you might want to talk about. My number is 917-951-1087, and my email address is charlesthebrooklynrealtor@gmail.com. If you call me and we have a conversation, I also have a booklet that I can give you or send to you. It's called Selling Your House Does Not Have to Be Stressful. It's written by a local attorney, Michael Reinhardt, and I can give that on over to you. So anyway, good luck to you. If you decide to go through the process yourself, stay safe, be careful, have fun, and good luck.